it's Lisa, Forever Clean Soapworks. I am going to make some Arnica salve, and I'm just now getting everything ready, or I'm disinfecting my jars. They have all been sprayed, but I still have to wipe them out. And my beeswax is getting heated right now, so we're going to get started. And if you watched my last video, you saw me disinfecting, and my bottle said 91%. It wasn't. 72%, which 72 is what breaks the barrier on bacteria and all the other stuff so that it can die. I had a lab tell me that 72 is what you disinfect with. So I have a bowl, and I'm going to spray and wipe it out. And then I will have a spatula that I will also disinfect. Let me find one. My spatula. Spray that real well and get that all disinfected. All of my equipment, when I wash it, it does get into a final bleach water rinse and then allowed to dry. Then I do another disinfecting. And now my table is soaking wet. So, like I said, these jars have all been sprayed, and I will get another paper towel to wipe them out. Let me lower this a little bit so you can see. I'm sure you can't see that they were wet. I let them sit for a little while so they kind of dry a little bit naturally, and then just wipe them out. This is for an order, and I have 20 of them I'm going to make. I have already infused my oil with my Arnica and cayenne, and I will have that ready shortly, because that does get heated up with my menthol. Little tip, menthol does not dissolve in water. Menthol crystals must be dissolved in oil. And so all I do is put it in my infused oil that has been strained and everything, because I already did that. And I keep it in a jug so that when I need to make Arnica, I don't have to take the time to strain it. So it's already done. And menthol crystals only dissolve in oil. So don't try to dissolve them in water, because it won't happen. So I heat my oil up a little bit. It doesn't have to be super hot to dissolve them. You just have to be patient. I want to get these done so that any other moisture from the alcohol will dry before I pour. So it's been super duper duper hot lately, and today is a nice, beautiful, I wish summer was this temperature all the time day, because there's low humidity and it's only going to be maybe 75 today, so my kind of weather. Almost done with these. Like I said, they're still a little damp, so I just let them sit and the alcohol will evaporate. There we go. I'm going to push them all back over here. I can see a couple of them still have a little moisture on them from the alcohol. I can see, I mean, I wipe them out, but you know, there's always a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to get my oil and my menthol going. There's my bowl. Let me measure out my menthol. Alright, I will show you what the menthol crystals look like. They're really cool. Menthol crystals are made from peppermint oil. They sound so cool. I don't know if you can hear this. I love the sound of that. Absolutely love it. Let me get my scale going here. I wish I had a real camera so that I could set it at distance and then you could see my face, and what I'm doing. Not going to give you my recipe, sorry. I'm sure many of you would like that, but I'm not going to. So. All right. Then, see, as usual, I wasn't ready. It says Arnica on it. Of course, that's backwards. I'm just going to measure this out in here. Perfect. Could you see how red that was? That's from the cayenne. You should see it right through there. Very, very orange. And I'm just going to microwave for about 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I don't know if you could hear me all the way over there. I'm microwaving it for about 2 minutes. I'm going to see if my beeswax is just about ready. And it is. I'll let it sit here for a minute because this is raw beeswax. And it does have parts in it. I'm not leaning down here. It has parts in it because it does come directly from the beekeeper who he does filter it, but there's still little bee parts in there. So when I heat it, I let it dissolve mostly and then I let it sit and all the little parts will fall to the bottom. And as long as I don't disturb it or stir it or anything like that, I can scoop it out without getting bee parts and everything. Little tip. What else? I do put my essential oils in last and my vitamin E in last because it is a little heat sensitive, so I don't want anything to be too super hot when I do that. So just getting my vitamin E and my essential oils. And we're just waiting on the menthol to be dissolved. So I'm just going to put you on hold for a minute. We are back, and I do make this a little bit hot, because when you put your beeswax in there, beeswax melts at a very high temperature. So if you put it into something cold, you'll just get clumps of beeswax in there. I think that this is pretty much, yeah. There's just a couple little pieces. It'll finish dissolving in just a minute here. Then I will scooch my pan over. And look at my recipe. And then I'm going to gently scoop out my beeswax and make sure there's no parts in it. If you ever get some of my arnica and it has a little speck in it, just know that those bees gave their life to give us this beeswax. And I'm sorry, I try to be very, very, very careful not to have any little floaties in there. Also, you don't want your, I'm going to, once this is all in here, I'm going to let it cool a little bit before I pour it, because you don't want to warp your jars if it's too hot. That can happen. I had it happen once. Back when I was learning and experimenting, and now I know. I have to be very careful. That clunk you just heard, that's my container of beeswax. It's on a cool table, so it contracted. Okay, there's a couple parts in there. Gotta be a little slower. Be a little slower. Oh, I cracked myself up. I only need a tiny bit more. Ta-da! Now I have to make 2 of these, so I am going to just set this all aside. I have to make 2 batches, maybe 3. I don't know. Okay. And let's see. Yep, I didn't get too many clumps. However, look at this. It's already getting solid on the edges. So I'm going to pour my other stuff in quickly so that this can be poured, because it's already cooling down. And I need some of this, a little of this, a little of that. This Arnica salve is awesome though. I have a lot of massage therapists that use it. It is wonderful. Yeah, there's the big puppy right here. Perfect. If you don't pour, you have trouble pouring exact, just pour it in a little cup and then pour it in. That would be the easiest in my vitamin E. Yeah, I'll let you know that I put that in there. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to reveal my recipes. I started to make a Patreon site where I would reveal some of my recipes. However, that got put on hold. I'll let you know if I get it back up and running. All right. And that is done. You can see that's already solidified on there. So I'm going to take this off the scale, stir it, and see if everything continues to melt back down, because it's still warm, it's not hot. Yep. But it is like I need to pour it now. Yeah, it's starting to get thick. I don't get to pouring real quick here, we're going to have to heat it just a slight amount. Kind of thinking we might have to do that anyway. Yeah, it's barely warm. But let's try it. It is so pretty. So, so pretty. I'm making such a mess. Slide some of these down here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Way too much. Okay. When I get way too much, my handy dandy little thing here. Oops. Put some in the other one. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. These are so pretty when they're poured. They're just gorgeous. Pretty, look at that color. Now I do buy my cayenne and my arnica in bulk. And I buy it from the same place all the time, but sometimes the cayenne is lighter than other times, and I don't know why. So sometimes I get a little variation in the color of my arnica salve. No big deal. It works the same. Everybody always wants to know what the difference in the color is. It's just the color of the cayenne. I might have to heat this a little bit in just a minute here because it's starting to get thick on the edges and I want to get every last drop. It very much is good to the last drop. Oh, that menthol smells so good. I don't think I have enough for a whole nother jar. So what I'm going to do, since I have to make another batch, I am going to just scrape all this down and just put the other stuff right in here and just keep going. But it'll just be a repeat of what you just watched, so I'm not going to film it. So here's what we have. Look how pretty that arnica is. Yep. Now I am going to let these sit probably overnight. They have to be completely cool before you put a lid on. The reason is you don't want any moisture in there. Moisture will cause mold, and we don't want moldy products. Not at all. And with this being a salve and it does not have any water in it, you do not need to put a preservative in there. I mean, you could if you wanted, but it's really a waste of money. So that's it. That's how I make my arnica salve and how I pour it and what I do. And like I said, these will sit overnight. I'll just drape a paper towel over the top so nothing falls in them. Don't know what would fall in them, but you never know. Dust, whatever. And then I will jar them up and label them. and they'll be ready to go for my customer. It's been great. Thanks for watching. See you soon.